Before we get into today's episode, I just want to give a big shout out to a group of content creators at the National that I think did a really impressive job. They are the Quiet Card podcast. They streamed for over 90 hours at the show. And like I said, it was just to be on live and to be on point like that every single time is super impressive. And I wanted to give a shout out. Make sure you go check out their show and their podcast, all that kind of stuff. And the other shout I want to give out to is an article that was written on Collectibles on SI. Yesterday, we talked about the Colorado recruit that got a custom book of sports cards. There's a phenomenal article on Collectibles on SI that I would really suggest you go check out if you're looking to learn more about that, more than what we talked about on yesterday's podcast. One of the companies in the industry that I think is doing a pretty interesting combination of a couple different things is Alt. They are like a sports card marketplace, but they also have some pretty good data analytics tools if you're looking for any type of data when it comes to like players who are hot and cold. I have seen, their layout I think is pretty good for like content creation, if I'm going to be honest. And that's sort of like one thing that I think more secondary card companies, because not Topps or Fanatics or Panini, I don't think that they would be able to do this really. But I think like companies that have data or companies that have information that can be relayed to the masses, if they can make the content like preload it already so it looks good, so it's you don't have to create the content, I guess, if that makes sense. I think that for someone like me who knows Photoshop and graphic design, doing some of the stuff isn't super hard, but like the way that they have their layout and the way that they have everything is pretty good, I think, compared to other companies in the industry, primarily. And the news that they came out with at the National was that they gave out $4.8 million worth of cards or worth of money of advances. And there was a couple, probably like a month or two ago, it was before Fanatics Fest. That's right. Because there was a company that was trying to launch a sports card credit card, which I don't love that idea really, because unfortunately, I think the people that would be most likely to use a sports card credit card are the ones that shouldn't be using it. So I think Alt is in the same sort of conversation, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I think that looking at their website, there is like a minimum that there is a minimum that you have to take out. And I think it was like a 9 to 10% interest rate. And what it said is all you need is a social security number and an address and a bank account, and they can fund some of these fund some of your money for buying cards. And I think on one hand, sure, that in theory, that is a cool concept for people who can manage their money correctly. But I think it also is a very dangerous idea for an industry that has become more and more reliant on gambling. And I don't know if they should be categorizing certain cards that you can buy with your money that they're giving you. But we've seen that sort of run into an issue. Like, I remember a video from, I believe it was either the 2021 or 2019 National. This was like a while ago, where this was something that PWCC was doing before PWCC was bought by Fanatics. They were doing a similar cash advance thing. And I remember there was a viral video of someone being like, I bought I think it was some sort of national treasures, either John Morant or Zion, and they paid $250,000 for it. And the video was somebody telling their parent that they bought the card, and the parent being like, where did you get the money? And then they said that they got it from getting money from a company. So I don't know. Like I said, it's a dangerous game that I think companies are playing if they want to get into that space. If they know how to manage it and are they able to manage the customers that they're giving the money to, then it's a fine idea. But like I said, at the National, they gave out almost $5 million for people to buy cards, which is pretty wild. The other story that was promoted at the National that happened yesterday, or 2 days ago at this point, depending on when you're watching this, was Ken Goldin and Logan Paul did a huge box break. And I screenshotted one of the images, and there was they had two 2009 basketball boxes looking for Steph Curry. They had, I don't know what year this is, but there were some wrestling star there were some wrestling star stickers that they were trying to pull. There was a 1982 or 81 Topps basketball box, which they did pull some. I think they pulled two of the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Dr. J rookies from that product, which it's crazy that there are cards out there and that there are boxes that you can still pull cards of that stature out of. It's pretty insane. And then they also had a 1998 Sky box, which that would have a Kobe rookie, if I'm not mistaken. And then they were cracking some packs. It looked like they had some like older wax packs and baseball packs. I'm not sure what they were being able to pull out of there. I don't, I'm not 100% sure why the industry is still infatuated with Logan Paul, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like, sure, he has a lot of influence, but he's done a ton of like weird things in the crypto space, like a bunch of projects that he promoted and then didn't really follow through with some of the projects. And then, there was the whole thing with the baseball card exchange Pokemon box with the Pokemon guru or whatever the guy's name was, that they found whatever it was GI Joe cards in the box rather than first edition Pokemon cards. And after that, I'm surprised that I don't know. It just seems like I understand the desire to want to have him in videos and have him be around, but at the same time, I don't understand it, because I feel like it does, if you know anything about him outside of cards or even inside of cards, it just doesn't seem like he is the right representation of what this industry is or what it could be. So, they did that break. They pulled, I believe, like I said, some of the Jordan Magic rookies, like the triple cards that were pretty cool. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think that they were packs that they knew what was inside, but some of the reactions seemed very much like they knew what was coming out of the pack, if I'm going to be completely honest. I really only tuned in for a couple minutes, and then I was watching some of the highlights on social media, and that's just sort of the vibes that I got from watching it. $10 million is impressive. It's an impressive break, but for someone like Ken Goldin, $10 million after doing the stuff with Goldin, he probably has that in his bank account at any time that he wants to pull out these cards. So I wouldn't be surprised. Also, this was on eBay Live, which I was sort of surprised. Like, why I didn't 100% understand why they were doing an eBay Live. Maybe it's just something where they were trying to promote eBay Live a little bit more, and maybe they're working with them potentially. Those are all scenarios in my head that I could see happening. That's all I've got for today's episode. I appreciate everybody listening and watching here on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe, and everyone, I will see you in the next one.